You've already lost the argument before you even open your mouth. Not because you're wrong, not because they're smarter, but because you're playing checkers while they're playing chess, and nobody ever told you the rules. The scariest part? The person who wins arguments rarely has the best point. They have the best technique, and today, you're getting all of it. Before we get into it, well, there's one psychological trick used by lawyers, negotiators, and weirdly, most toddlers that makes people agree with you without even realizing it. We're saving that for later. And trust me, once you see it, you'll never argue the same way again. But first, let's talk about why you keep losing. Here's something nobody admits. The smarter you are, the worse you are at arguing. I know, painful, but here's why. Smart people fall in love with being right, and the moment you fall in love with being right, you stop paying attention to what actually wins. You know that feeling when someone says something wrong on the internet and you write a beautifully structured point by point rebuttal with sources, and they just say, okay, lol. That's not them being stupid. That's you not understanding how humans actually work. People don't change their minds because of facts, they change their minds because of feelings. Read that again. Slowly. There's a thing called the backfire effect. When you hit someone with overwhelming evidence against their belief, their brain doesn't go, oh, wow, I was wrong. Their brain goes threat, defend, attack. So you bring receipts, they bring ego. The ego always wins at home. This is why winning arguments aren't about having more ammunition. It's about making the other person lower their shield. And the fastest way to do that? Make them feel heard first, not agreed with. Just heard. Two words that will change every argument you ever have. That's interesting. Not sarcastic. Genuine. Suddenly, they're not fighting a wall, they're talking to a person, and that's when you take the wheel. Technique 1. The Socratic trap. Socrates never told anyone they were wrong. He just asked questions. Politely, patiently, until the other person argued themselves into a corner and accidentally proved his point for him. The play, instead of saying you're wrong, ask, how did you come to that conclusion? Let them explain. Most bad arguments collapse under their own weight. They just need a few more questions to get there. You don't have to do anything. Just watch. It's beautiful, honestly. Technique 2. Steel manning. Here's the counterintuitive one. Before you attack their argument, make it stronger. Say their point back to them, but better than they said it. Watch their face change. They expected a fight. You handed them a compliment wrapped in logic. Now they trust you. Now they listen. And now you dismantle it. It feels like arguing judo. You use their own weight against them. Technique 3. The pause. Most people are so desperate to respond they forget to think. When someone makes a point, even a bad one, pause for 3 full seconds before you reply. Don't fill the silence. Let it breathe. This does 3 things. It makes you look calm and controlled, it makes them nervous, and it gives your brain time to find the actual best response instead of the first one. Silence is a weapon. Most people are too uncomfortable to use it. Remember that lawyer-toddler trick from the beginning? Here it is. It's called labeling. Instead of arguing against someone's emotion, you name it out loud. It sounds like you're frustrated because it seems like this really matters to you because the moment you label someone's emotion accurately, their nervous system physically relaxes. Brain scans prove this. The amygdala, your brain's panic button, literally quiets down. They stop fighting. They start talking. FBI hostage negotiators use this. Therapists use this. And apparently, every toddler who's ever said, "Mommy, you seem sad," and immediately got an extra cookie, uses this. Label the emotion. Lower the temperature. Win the room. Now here's the part nobody wants to hear. The best argument you can ever make is one that doesn't feel like an argument. The people who win the most, in boardrooms, courtrooms, dinner tables, comment sections, they all do one thing differently. They make the other person feel like they arrived at the conclusion. Not, I convinced you, but you figured it out. Plant the seed. Ask the right question. Let them water it. When they bloom, stay quiet and smile. That's not manipulation. That's mastery. Because here's the final truth. Winning an argument doesn't mean making someone feel defeated. It means making them feel understood, while gently moving them exactly where you needed them to go. Most people spend their whole lives trying to be the loudest person in the room. The smartest ones learn to be the quietest. Because the person who controls the temperature of a conversation controls everything inside it. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't even need to raise your voice. You just need to understand one thing that most people never figure out. In any argument, the one who needs to win the least wins the most.